There's a scene during an episode of Balls Deep for Vice when Thomas Morton visited Bear Week in Provincetown, Massachusetts, which is a big festival for big, burly, hairy gay men. And at one point goes to a yoga studio and which teaches acceptance, body acceptance, meeting you where you're at. And because there's still a lot of body image issues for bears, bigger, hairy men. Even though it's been fetishized and made desirable, and very desirable in that community, but the body images still persist. And at one point, you remove your clothing, and you're both naked, and you're obviously there's touching each other's cocks, honoring the body and whatnot. That's all, very, I think for a lot of people, very shocking or surprising, or something that they would be uncomfortable doing possibly, or something maybe some people might be interested in doing. But that was not the most interesting aspect for me. It was when the guy was talking about removing armor. And when he, because it's not about sex, it's about honoring the other's body, according to the yoga instructor. And when you take your clothes off, you do not take your clothes off yourself. Your partner takes your clothes off. Two men. And he said sometimes this can be very, vulnerable for men to he calls it the clothing, the armor. And I think that's a very interesting way to put it, because it is. Clothing is our armor, is our shield, is our wall that we put up from other people, from the rest of the world, really, hiding our bodies in various ways, depending on how cold it is, or how much you're uncomfortable with your body, not wearing clothes that fit you because you're overweight or something, or you're just afraid to show off your actual body type to the world, and the other person removes your clothes for you. And I think that's another man, and I think that's a very powerful thing, and something I think all men should have to go through. Maybe not have to, but should try. And be vulnerable, and then you're not only removing the clothing from the other person, have the other person remove the clothing from you, but then go through the touching. And it's non-sexual, nobody gets fucking hard. And just to honor each other, just to appreciate each other's bodies, and your masculine energy. And I think that's a very interesting concept. And I just really love that aspect of removing the other person's clothing, and the other person removes your clothing, your armor, your wall, and breaking that down. I think that's very, very important and very interesting. So I thought I'd just share that really quick. Yeah, armor. Interesting.